Hey, I'm making a video for the first time on YouTube, and I thought it should probably be about astrology and also about what's going on in the US these days, especially regarding the elections. Um, I've studied astrology for almost 5 years now. I'm still at beginner level, I would say, but still had some insight or like some idea about what could be happening in the US right now. Um, so if you take US in terms of Vedic astrology sign, it's Gemini, and currently we have Saturn in the eighth house in Gemini, and eighth house if it was if Gemini if America was a person, a human being, eighth house would be hidden things hidden underground, all kinds of secrets. Um, if it's a human being, it would be their groin or genital area. So, and it could also involve things like intimate contact and things like that. And Saturn is currently in this house. So, in terms of a country, I feel they could be going through a lot of secrecy involved things. In the sense, no, more like the country may feel like it has been sexually abused. So, what would, if a human was to feel that they were sexually abused, they would feel like as if they've lost their identity or they don't know who they are, and they'd be like very confused as to why it happened, because it would have a drastic effect on them. So, similarly, I believe that at the end of this election, people would not feel comfortable about it. They would feel as if they had been violated, as if they had lost their identity. Yeah. In addition to the Saturn in the eighth house, there's also Rahu and Ketu placement in the 12th and the 6th house. So right now there are major planets in 6th, 8th and the 12th house, which are the three most houses involved in terms of negative things. It's not particularly negative, but it does have some of the most strongest negative effects in terms of Vedic astrology. So since Rahu is present in the 12th house and Ketu is present in the 6th house, the country is actually dealing with a lot of hidden enemies right now. 6th house is hidden enemies, and 12th house is actually foreign lands, foreigners. So yeah, I did hear on the news a long time back that Russia had some involvement with the voting last time in the elections, and yeah, I mean this time they could have some involvement as well. I mean, I'm not just thinking it's just Russia. It could be like a group of countries getting involved with the internal affairs of the US, because Rahu means illusion. Rahu means things like the mist. So the mist has come over the US and kind of like clouds the judgment among the among the people within that country. And also foreign lands will try to put a mist or put an illusion towards the people that live in the US or the government, and as well as the 12th house also means things like prison, things like the judicial system within that country, like the court system. So I did hear like in the past few months that there had been some major changes done by our famous Donald Trump in terms of judicial systems and things like that. So yeah, so that was supposed to happen from the perspective of Vedic astrology as I read it. So I don't know how other people think about it, but yeah. And not to forget Ketu in the 6th house, because Ketu right now is sitting in the house of the hidden enemies. So karmically, if US has enemies, of course any country has enemies and allies as well, but since US does have pretty famous enemies or like counterparts, they would try their best to influence the country right now, try to get their agendas across within the country, and the people and the government, or like the people in general, will not, things would not be in their favor right now, because the hidden enemies are probably getting exactly what they wanted. Yeah, so I basically talked about the astrology aspect as I see it for US, the Gemini sign, for the houses of 6th, 8th, and 12th, using planets Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu. Well, I did not really particularly talk about the rest of them, simply because I feel Saturn, Rahu, and Ketu are just more than enough to describe anyone's chart. Of course, there are a lot more planets in it, and you can use them to describe a lot more things about a human being or a country or a certain event that's happening at a certain place. You can say a lot of things using Vedic astrology. I mean, yes, I am talking about Vedic astrology, but I do study other forms of astrology such as Western astrology, and I'm really a huge fan of tarot as well, even though I don't practice it. Yeah, so yeah, I think I've basically gone through everything, and probably I'll be making a few more videos regarding why I got into astrology and why I started on this path. I'm not an astrologer per se, but I did venture into this area due to many how would I say it, many challenges that I had to go through, and I wanted to figure out why these things were happening. So I wanted to bring some understanding, like bring some logic into it, try to figure out why it was happening the way it was happening. And I found astrology was one of the best ways to describe it. It's not always, I would not say that it's always accurate. It could be sometimes a 50-50, but I have had many instances where it has been almost like 75% accurate. So yeah, at the end of the day, I honestly don't know whether it's going to be Joe Biden or Donald Trump, and it doesn't. Yeah, I don't think it really concerns me that much. But as someone who is witnessing what US is going through right now, I hope they get I hope the best person wins. Like basically, but you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, thanks for listening to me. Subscribe to my channel, and hope you'll support me. Thank you.